Hi everyone, welcome to this new video. My name is Aditya and on this channel I talk about Kubernetes, blockchain and software engineering in general. So in today's video we are going to take a look how we can extend the kubectl with the plugins, and we will be going to create our own kubectl plugin that we can use in our day-to-day life. So let me first start with talking about like what a kubectl plugin is. So basically these are the standalone binaries which you can use along with the kubectl CLI to perform certain actions, and these actions could be varying as per your business needs. And there is a special naming convention that we have to follow while creating those kubectl plugins. So the name should start with kubectl hyphen and followed by the name of the plugin that you wish to give. And let's start through example. And for this demonstration, we will be going to write the kubectl plugin in the bash shell script. But in coming up videos, we will be going to use the Golang for creating these kubectl plugins. So let me just bring my ID here, and I have already created a file with name kubectl-decode. Basically, this plugin will allow us to decode those Kubernetes secrets that are there in the base64 encoded format. So the idea here is that we will be asking the user to provide the secret name and the namespace, and then we will be going to pass those details to this script, and then this script will basically it will decode those Kubernetes secrets that are there in the base64 encoded form. So basically this is a simple text file, and I don't have provided any extension here. So let's start by creating a shell file. So let me give the shell bang here first. Or before actually starting, let's create the simple plugin first. So let me just do a echo hello here so that you get an idea like how we are going to invoke this. So let me bring my terminal here. Let me export my kubeconfig, and now I have to basically put this in the path variable so that kubectl is able to recognize this as a plugin. And I already told you the criteria for kubectl to detect that this is a plugin is that we have to name this file with the kubectl, then hyphen with your plugin name, and this will be the sub command as well, right? Which we have to provide when we are invoking this plugin. So let me just put this into my path variable. Let me export this, and I can just simply export my current working directory. And now if I do kubectl decode, and if I try to hit enter, I should get this hello because we are meeting the criteria, like the plugin name should start with kubectl, and also this is present in our path variable, right? So that's why we are able to access this plugin. So now the idea here is that we want the user to provide the secret name as well. So let's assume that we have a secret ABC, and user should be able to provide that secret, and then we can basically decode this secret into the base64 format, right? Basically we can just extract the data out of this secret. So let's do one thing. Let's write the kubectl command here first. So I can do kubectl, and let's write the command here. So kubectl get, and we have to get the secrets, and then the secret name will be given to us by the user. So and we have to basically take that parameter from the user. So let's do $1 because this is how user is going to provide us the secret name. And let's now try to run this again, and I don't have to again export it into my path variable because I have done that already. Now if I just run this, it should run this command, and here it's giving me an error that this secret is basically we don't have a secret with name ABC. So let's do this thing. Let me just try to get the available secret in the namespace, and then we can pass the valid secret. So we have one secret with name default token. So basically we can pass this name. Let's try to do that. The command was kubectl-decode, and then we have to pass the secret name here. Yep, and you can see that this time it gave us the correct response. So now the goal here is to decode all the data inside the secret. So now let's try to do that. So in order to decode the secret, we can just we can just try to get the basically we can use the Go template, which can return us these details, like which can basically decode it. So I already have written the Go template. So let me just bring that Go template here. So here, let me just put the Go template here. And basically what we are doing here, we are looping over all the records. So Kubernetes secrets are stored in this data variable, and we can just see that as well. So if I just do kubectl describe, I want to describe the secret, and with this name, so we can see that it has a parameter called data, and inside the data so we can see that it has a parameter called data, and inside that we have all these secrets, right? We can also describe this I think we have to do get, and we can just basically see the JSON format of it, right? The response in the JSON format. So let's do -o and then JSON. So it should return us in the JSON format, right? And here you can see that we have a property called data, and inside the data we can see a map, which is a key value pair. So key name is the name of the secret, basically the key name, and the value is basically the secret, right? So here we are just looping over this data property, and we are basically just decoding the value here, and this is what we are doing. So let's try to run this plugin. So what we can do, we can just run kubectl-decode and then the token name, and let's try to run this. So we can see that it gave us the response in the decoded format, like it had a property called ca.crt, which is a certificate, and it gave us the certificate in the string format, in the plain text format, and then it gave us the namespace as well in the plain text format, and the token as well in the name format, in the plain format. But if you just see this command, the output of this command, where we don't have the decoded format, you can see that all of them is in the base 64 encoded form, right? So we are good, and I think at a high level we have achieved the functionality what we wanted to achieve. But let's put some sanity check as well. And right now, like what we did is we asked the user like to provide the token name, but we can also consider a case where user can also provide the namespace as well, right? If we want to look for a token that is in different namespace, we should be able to do that as well, right? So let's put some if statements here, and let's try to do those validations. So let me just do a validation here, and I'm going to check if the required number of parameters are passed or not. So the minimum number of parameters that we are looking is at least one parameter should be there, so that we can do that. We can basically decode it, and we can assume that if there is only one parameter, then it means we are looking in the default namespace, right? And I can check if the number of arguments is less than 1. So what I can do, I can just simply say an error like invalid arguments. Like if the sufficient number of arguments are not passed, even if the argument pass is not even single one, then we can simply throw an error like invalid arguments, right? And I can exit it as well. And if this is not the case, then we can proceed further. So now let's try to run this. and let's try not to pass any uh, parameter here, right? So let's hit enter, and you can see we got an error message which says invalid arguments, right? So now so far we are good, and now we have to consider the second case, which is we have to consider the namespace as well, right? So we want the user to provide a command something like this, where he can pass -n and the namespace as well, right? If you want to give the namespace as default, he should be able to do that, right? So let's do that thing. Let's check if the second argument that is passed to us is -n or not. So I can just, do a if check here, and I can check if the second argument is equal to -n. If it is equal to -n, then what we can do, we can basically look for the namespace. Like we can check for the third argument, that if there is a third argument or not. So let's do this thing. Let's check for the third argument, that if we can basically check for the number of arguments. So let me just use this command only, and here we are checking for the third argument, that if the number of arguments passed, they are equal to 3 or not. So I can just use equal, and here I can use then, and then here I can assign the namespace as, I can create a namespace variable, and I can give the value as $3. Okay, so far we are good, and we have to consider one more case, like if we don't receive this argument, right? If we user doesn't provide this, so by default what we can do, we can just give the namespace as default. So let me just do that, right? So far we are good, and now we can use this namespace. We can just pass this namespace here using -n and then $namespace, right? So far we are good. Let me just wrap this into a single line. Yep, this is good. And now let's try to run this. So we already know that this token is in default namespace. Let's try to verify this. Yep, this works. Let's try to check for the secrets that I have. So I'm going to check for all the secrets. And now let's try to check for this secret, which is in value namespace. Let me just copy the secret name, and let's just run this kubectl-decode. And here we have to give the secret name, and then we have to give the namespace. So namespace was Valero in our case. And let's try to decode this. Yep, it works pretty well. Like it gave us the CA certificate, the token, and the namespace as well, right? So I think we are good on this plugin. And now let's go to the kubectl documentation, and from there let's consider some of the limitations that we have when we are using the shell script for kubectl plugin. So one of the limitation is that if you want to have subcommands, it's not possible. You have to it's not possible with a single shell script. You need to create multiple shell scripts. And what do I mean by multiple subcommands is, let's say we want to have something like this kubectl-decode, and here also we want to give one more command. Let's say we want to give a command like something like check, and then here we want to, after that we want to give our secret name, right? Let's say the secret name is ABC. So this is not possible with this shell script. Like you have to create a new file with name something like this, kubectl, then decode, and then something like this. Like your file name should be something like this, kubectl-decode -check, and then only you can use this multiple subcommands, right? So this is one of the limitation, and this kind of limitation is not there when you use a programming language. So there you can use multiple subcommands. You can define the level of subcommand that you want to have, and that is pretty much straightforward in those languages. And another limitation is that your plugin name should start with kubectl only, right? Your file name should start with kubectl hyphen and then the plugin name itself. So this is one of the limitation. Now let's check other limitation in the official documentation. So like I told you about the discovering of plugin, and the discovery of plugin happens based on the name. So your plugin name should start with kubectl hyphen, and we forgot to check this command as well. Like this command will list all the kubectl plugins that you have. Let's try to run this command. This should return you all the plugins that you have. So I have currently 3 plugins. First one is this decode plugin that we just created in this video only, and then I have couple of other plugins, and these plugins are stored at this location. Let's check the documentation once more. So we already discussed about like how to write the plugin. That is done. And one more thing, like you basically need to give the executable permission to your shell script, and I didn't did that because my shell script was already having that executable permission. But if you are creating it for the first time, you need to give that, and then you have to move that to your path. Like either you can move this location, or you can export it via the path variable, like just like I did, and then you can use it like a normal plugin, right? You can just give your plugin name, and you should be good to go. And the thing that I talked about, like naming the plugin. So if you want to have, like I told, if you want to have multiple subcommands like this, then you need to give the plugin name something like this, where you have to give the hyphen, and then after, like the subcommands are separated by the hyphen, right? And I think we covered most of the stuff here. And one more thing I like to highlight is that if you want to have dashes in your in your plugin name, then you can give the file name as underscore, right? And what I meant by this is that let's say you want to have a command something like that. Let me write it here: kubectl decode. Like you want to have command something like that, kubectl decode hyphen check, and as per our understanding, the file name should be something like that, right? Kubectl, then hyphen, and then the name of the plugin, which is decode, and then hyphen check, right? This is the understanding so far we had when we have to create plugin like this. But if you want to have hyphen in between of your plugin name, then what you can do, you can just put underscore here in the file name. So your file name should look like this if you want to have your subcommand or plugin look something like this, right? Let's move to the doc again. So we talked about this. And yeah, I think we are good here. So you can distribute the kubectl plugin with the help of Crew, and Crew is something similar to what npm is for Node.js, and basically you can put your plugin in the Crew repository, and it could be, and then it can be accessible by anyone, right? I think we are good on this, and I think we have covered all the aspect of it. And you can basically find the source code of this in the description, in the video description. And if you're liking the type of content that I'm making, then please consider subscribing to the channel, and you can follow me on Twitter and LinkedIn as well. The link for both, you can find them into the video description. And yeah, I think this is what I wanted to cover in this video. And in the next video, we will be going to take a look like how we can use Go to create this kind of a plugin. Like, and in Go we don't have these kind of limitations, right? That I will discuss in that separate video. But I think that's it for this video, and see you in the next one, right?